Welcome, everybody. It's been an extra week, so I'm kind of out of sorts, but call the meeting to order and the roll call of school board members as we're all present. So we'll start with 4.0 with communication and reports. Finance update.
Hello.
Hi.
Great. We're going to start with the budget to actual. And I just, since it's the beginning of the year, not too much to note. One thing I wanted to bring into attention that our federal revenue is actually 0% of our budget right now. It's showing 40%. I did not realize that something was posted or not posted until this afternoon. So that is actually a 0% with our revenue projection there. Then going down to other financing uses at the bottom of for the expenditures, it is showing that we're at 185.9% of the budget spent, and that is due to when I built the budget, I missed the workman's comp insurance in there, so that is going to affect our budget a little bit. So that's about roughly $135,000. So there's the 2 points that I wanted to make. That, and then Kevin and I have already lined up some times to start meeting to going over our revised budget. Hopefully we'll start maybe next week. Depends, audit's coming up, so that's taking up a lot of our time right now. So those are the 2 points I wanted to make on the budget to actual. Any questions there?
Any questions for Carla?
And then going on to the treasurer's report, we are actually sitting exactly the same as we were last month as far as the change over last year. Just continuing to watch so that we can time our bills appropriately. All I had there.
Any questions, board? Good. Thank you, Carla. Principal reports. With whom shall we start?
You want me to go or
You
you?
can go too.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Start with this.
All right, so school readiness enrollments, we are at capacity. Our super pre-K class has 17 students enrolled. Our 4-year-olds have 80, our 3-year-olds have 40. We have 2 4-year-olds and 1 3-year-old on the waiting list. So,
Is that with the extra or the addition of the class?
yeah,
Do
that
you have a teacher?
we do not yet, but I'm
We
looking.
need a preschool teacher.
So we still need a
teacher.
preschool teacher and we,
Plugging for right now.
yeah. Yep, so we'd still need a preschool teacher and we need an afterwave coordinator because enrollments there are up too. We've got more kids in afterwave, but I talked with a gal this morning and she's really interested, so I'm excited about that. But yeah, on the search for a licensed preschool teacher.
And that extra class is going back into the middle school? That was the class?
Nope, the extra class is going back into South Point in room 502.
Dan, my question would just be, do you have a contingency plan if you don't find anybody?
I do, yeah, I have a long-term sub on the hook. So, yep,
And you would do the same with that after wave?
yep, same thing.
And space is not an issue for that extra class? That's
No,
it's already
it's the same
fine.
space we used last
Last
year.
time, okay.
Yep. All right.
All right, New Heights. We currently have, these numbers are a little fluid. We have 145 kindergartners. Diane gave you the Super K at 17, 151 first graders, 142 second graders. We've had about 18 kids out and 18 kids in. So, I mean, we're pretty good there. Classrooms are all filled with teachers. We're searching obviously for that social worker position. So that's out there. We're trying to find the right candidate for that role. This morning, we did some interviews for the open assistant principal position. We are hoping to to get that offer done. We were hoping to try to get it done tonight, but it didn't quite happen. So we'll be, working with, people inside to get it done, with Mr. Grover and Nancy to get that offer in. Just spending time getting ready for workshops and schedules. Last week staff, we had 28 staff in and trained for responsive classroom at New Heights. We have some staff being trained this week in OG as well, out at South Point. I'll be meeting with special ed in the next week to look at para assignments, student assignments, all of those pieces. Office staff, Jody's back today for the rest of the year, and Lacey is back on Monday, so we'll have a full staff back there. KA, we're just getting ready. SEL and PBIS have met a couple times over the summer. We had our big MTSS retreat last week. So we're pretty well good to go there. And we're just getting ready for the open house for K2 on the 28th of August, not October, August. Questions?
What are the class sizes looking like for kindergarten? I know that has been on the radar.
I think they're around 23,
23.
22, 23.
You got enough teachers, don't anticipate any classes going over?
Not right now. So I'm hoping.
That we will go?
Well,
or
we'll let
we
you know
stay
if
right
we
now?
do. So,
What time,
Thank-
what, the 28th, what time is that?
open house is 3:30 to 6:30.
Thank you.
Mr. Rensel.
Yep.
Good
Hi.
evening. Hello.
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 All right, South Point. So a lot of things are happening. It feels like a busy school right now as we have staff back. As Chad had stated, we are in the midst of OG and morphology training for staff 3-5, and then we're having some staff from New Heights come over and welcome as well. We had a lot of our staff join New Heights as well for that responsive classroom last week. Looking at our class numbers, our third grade is sitting at 146. Fourth grade is at 135 and fifth grade is at 141. The grade that I'm really concerned about though is our third grade. Our class sizes right now are all sitting at 24 with 2 classes at 25. And so just to give you a little breakdown, 32 IEPs left South Point and transitioned over to the middle school, but they are getting that much. We're inheriting 32 more coming into South Point in that third grade class with 9 students already identified as red flag of possibly looking at IEPs or behavior. Just to give you that background in third grade.
That's just in third grade?
Correct.
Is that how many left the school too?
Yes,
Yes.
roughly. Yep.
So 32 plus the 9,
Mhm.
so more plus
In third grade.
in third.
Just in-
Correct. So we are concerned about our class sizes in third grade. Yeah. So taking that under consideration. Again, we have open house just like New Heights does. I'll have to get back and forth between New Heights and South Point, not mixing that, but our open house will be from 3:30 to 6:30 on the 28th as well. We're looking to have our class lists go live to families this Friday, and just happy to have staff back and ready to go. Any questions?
At what point would you want to do, another third grade?
Well, I think we're looking at it right now.
Yeah.
Yes. We would be playing musical classrooms over there, but that's fine. Yep.
And I don't know where the board's conversation, obviously I was not part of that, you know, when the reduction was made. It's getting, you know, to that point. One concern is though the specialty
I was gonna
area.
bring that up. That was my next.
Okay, you
conversation.
want to go
Yeah,
on?
or-
No, go ahead.
So right now we are sitting with 3 specials. We have music, Phy-Ed, and gym. That's 3. If we were to get, right now we have 6 sections of third grade, fourth grade, and fifth grade. If we put a 7th in there, that's going to alter the schedule drastically because we'll need that 3rd section. or that third of a.
You need
special,
another prep
excuse me. Yeah,
coverage,
that-
so to speak.
Mhm.
And so
Right.
it's almost like an addition of two in essence, or 1.5 somehow. One thing I've thrown out, I mean, because it sounds like the numbers are similar. It grew a couple,
Mhm.
like today we had an open enrollment come in. I think one or two.
We had two.
Two. I would be more comfortable closing, and I don't know if you've ever done that to open enrollment going forward, so that you don't get 5 or 6 more, 3 more, I mean, we want kids, but the problem is if you get 2 more kids and you have to add 2 teachers or 1 teacher, it's almost,
Mhm.
it's cost prohibitive. You know what I'm saying? It's, if someone moves into the district, you have no choice. It doesn't close that. It's closing it to the outside coming in, for instance. And again, we welcome outside people. I don't want anyone going, he's against that. No, we want kids here. But when you get to a tipping point on a grade, at this point in, to have to go and add, like I say, 1 and redo your schedule, or find, cause Soraya's the one, I thought she was gonna be here. You know-
Right there.
Oh, sorry. It's, was, and help me if I'm wrong, that you need another prep coverage, and that becomes who do what do you put in? And, you don't hire someone for 1 hour necessarily, or,
So then would you recommend closing that open enrollment for every school or just
No,
like
no,
the
you can
third
close
grade?
it by
Just
grade.
third grade, just
And
by.
again,
okay.
I'll be honest, I've never had to do that, but there are districts that do that, so that again, if someone moves in, we have to take them. So like I say, right now if you're at 24/25 with a couple, it would prevent it for the most part. The other thing is there a kid or two that doesn't show up? We've had that happen too at the start of a year, and so, I'm just throwing it out there for discussion, because I wasn't part of the numbers. I don't think have drastically changed from when you made the decision. You possibly gained a couple, right?
It has, those IEPs have gone up though, haven't they?
Yes,
Yeah.
from the spring, yes, and then with the 9 that are
The
already
9
red
that are
flagged.
flagged
Yep.
perhaps, so that number is gone. So that, even if the pupil number didn't change that much, the need seems like it's changed.
Yes.
Well, I think we're too high.
Right.
Yeah, I was gonna, yeah.
We're,
That's a lot.
say in the last 6 years, we strive to stay in that lower 20s.
22.
You're saying 25, and then heavy workload, I think we're too high, so I guess, I don't know if we need to.
Do we post?
We'll have to put something to board business,
Yeah.
if we want to cap something, but.
Can I ask,
From your perspective.
didn't you say you had 23 in kindergarten?
Which is getting up there too.
Well, what I'm getting at is 23 in kindergarten and 25, again, special ed is a separate piece, but 23 in kindergarten, 25 in third grade should be doable. And again, apples to apples, everything's not the same when you get some, different needs. And again, I'm here to support, I love the small class size, but we also, budget wise.
Yeah.
It's, some things may have to tweak up a little bit over time, so. I will take your direction.
Well, so that would equal, if it stands the way it is, that's 7 kids, if you don't disperse them evenly in each third grade class. That's a third of the class almost of having special needs or special instruction. Is that even doable as it is at 24?
Well, in a perfect world, we'd always want more people, more
Yeah.
staff and more support that way.
Yeah. Just seems like a lot, because not all of them will have paras, right? And there's usually
Just
one,
depends on what is
but the on
written in
ID,
their
yeah.
IEP.
So I mean, that could be, yeah, that could be a lot for one teacher, and then not disrupt the learning of the other students. I don't sit well with me.
So we are making some assumptions
Yeah,
right now without sitting, like you had mentioned, that the 9, those are merely assumptions, probably.
Right.
Probably pretty good assumptions.
Right, from New Heights, this is
Yeah.
what was brought to MTSS.
Yeah.
And then flagged as far as going forward.
Right on the edge.
It's getting
It's
there.
right, it's right on
Well,
the
and if,
edge.
especially if class assignments are one and go out on Friday, we're there as far as needing to make a decision, don't you think?
Say it again, what about making the decision on Friday?
Well, if the classes are Friday, we would like to jointly, the 2 elementaries like to post our class lists on Friday, 2 families.
So you know what
what
teacher you
teacher,
have in
right.
such, but you would want to do, to know that you
Correct.
have another teacher before you send out those lists.
That's changed before, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, not that it couldn't.
Yeah.
I'm just saying we're probably right up.
Does that need board action to add a class? It does not, right?
No.
It would be board action.
Well, I mean, to
hire
hire,
another-
I mean, we can
hire,
post
yeah.
it anytime.
Post,
you
yeah,
know,
right.
just
But
like,
the-
I'll be honest, if we get
Hire.
a AP in place, we're gonna post, I mean, just so you're aware, I mean, as long as
Yeah.
I have something I think the board's gonna support, we're gonna post, bring them to the tables, and they'll be in order, meaning you'd hire the AP, you'd hire the replacement, you know, if it was internal, or if it's not internal, you know, we're expecting, you know, to take care of it all in kind of one go here. If we need a special
Like a
meeting, we
special
can,
yeah.
but it just depends. So I
I'd be-
mean,
I guess I'd be open to having that open enrollment.
Yeah.
We want to be friendly.
Just for that class, that.
Well, but just
third
what
grade.
happens if someone moves, a couple people move into town and then, and they have third graders, all of a sudden we're over that threshold anyways.
Yeah.
correct, and you, I mean.
And then we're forced to do that, and then we've already canceled the open enrollment for third grade. We might have lost a couple kids there.
I think we should look for another teacher for third grade. If we,
What
put it
happens if
at
two don't
7.
show? I'm just throwing, you
Right.
know, throwing it
Yeah.
both ways, you know, you're still,
Same
yeah,
thing.
you're high, you're at your kind of limit.
Mhm.
I mean, you can add a month in, it's harder.
Yeah, wouldn't
I
it be
mean-
easier to do it now instead of after school already started?
Correct.
Because even if it's
Of
just the
course.
146 with.
But
no
at least
funding,
after school
That's
starts,
roughly-
then we know,
You're right. Without moving on to something.
we know. And rather than trying to assume what this is, and
I guess I don't know. I've never seen where have we added, I mean, I know it's happened, but I don't know, since I've been here, we added a teacher in the middle. of-
After school.
Yeah,
has
we
started.
did
Yeah.
at New Heights one time,
Did
didn't we?
we?
Before my time, I'm not sure.
I don't remember.
No, it's not often.
We still have
Yeah,
to add
that
the
too.
special.
yeah,
Right.
That prep, sure.
Yeah, but if you did at the 7 classes, that's 20.85 students per class, which might be more manageable if the levels are high with the IEPs and
That
things
would
like
be
that.
lower than we've
That's
ever been.
low, yeah.
right.
But we also boast a 1-to-20 ratio, so it would actually go with what we state
But we're
on our
also
stuff.
how many dollars in debt?
Yeah.
Hmm.
So a lot to think about, right?
Yeah.
Anything else? Right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll just. I mean, board, I think before Jill goes, I think we need to decide how we're gonna move forward. I know these are, administrative reports, but if something's gonna need to be added, we need to.
How about let's hear the rest of the
Yeah.
report, just in case someone else
Yeah, we
asks for an
talk it
addition
all.
or what, and then
Yeah.
maybe under my committee report, or my report or something, we'll
Nope,
have
good
more
I
enough.
discussion.
accidentally skipped, I'm sorry.
Yep.
No, that's fine.
Well, the welcome is official when you send your staff the welcome back newsletter with all of the schedules and all the details. And that happened today, I think, for all of us. So it's official and certainly exciting. Couple of things at CMS are schedules for teachers and our parents for orientation have been shared, not schedules for students yet, but I've already heard from students, can I see my schedule? Not yet. Come to orientation. So orientation is scheduled next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Each grade level has a day that's reserved for them, and there's a morning session and afternoon session. I sent out information. I'll again resend that too. Recognizing too that there needs to be some flexibility with those schedules because parents have kids and lots of places to be. So if a morning doesn't work, we do know that they can come in the afternoon. We'll also open up opportunities for families to come in if those days don't work, because we all know that middle schoolers get a little probably all students get a little worried ahead of the school year with making sure that their lockers are in place and that their schedules are in place. So we will help them to do that successfully. Our CMS activities, many of them started today, and if they didn't start today, they're going to really, really quickly. So we met with coaches to kind of give some expectations and parameters for what we want for students. That was a good thing. And then we also have some enrollment numbers to share. So we are in okay shape. Numbers wise, they are higher than what we've had and a little bit higher than what I would have expected. So overall, right now, we have 458 students that are enrolled. There are an additional 5 that we're aware of that are going to be enrolling. So they're not in the books, but parents have contacted us and said, we're going to be coming. So get ready. And we will be, but right now, if I were looking at 6th grade and including those 5 students, I'm going to include the 5 students, we're at 150, which is manageable. But we will have some class sizes, particularly in our social and our science at 28. Okay. Then the good news is that our 7th grade class is really big. But the tough news is that means some challenges with staffing. We're at 167. That's incredible. We, at the end of the year, were 155, 156, and we've just kind of had this growth. And if you've been in the middle school, you know our 7th grade hallway is the tightest hallway. So we are going to find spaces and places for them to have lockers as close to the 7th grade hallway as possible. That being said, looking at some of our classes, there are going to be some 28s, some 29s, and I'm trying to avoid 30. So I'm working on balancing classes so that that's not the case. But there are some challenges when we have designated time periods of the day where this is when Phy Ed and health and keyboarding goes, and there's 6 sections. And then there's tech and there's the career block and there's 6 sections. And then and then we have really great numbers with our band and choir. Like that is a huge celebration. But there's some challenges with scheduling because when half of the grade is in band or choir, we still have to get classes and kids scheduled and rolling around that too. So we're working through it as best we can. And our 8th grade class is at 143. So those are some more manageable numbers. So there's a lot that goes into the scheduling piece of it. I want to also say thank you to our special ed teachers because they do an incredible job of making sure that our kids are getting support on day 1. And it's because they come in ahead of time and they look at the things and they make sure that our paraprofessionals are in the places that they are needing to be so that we're ready to roll right away with kids. And that's really important, especially when we're transitioning 6th graders. And I would argue all of our students because they need to be supported right from the first day in a middle school setting with relationships being number 1. Questions?
Are you concerned with so I know 6th, 7th and 8th, if they're older, ideally able to manage themselves better. Are you worried about the larger class sizes or do you think that it should be doable? Like what?
So, those are big classes. The advantage that we have at a middle school is that they're going to be for 50 minutes and then they move on to the next class, which is likely going to be a smaller class.
Yeah.
So it's not an all day thing, which is a different kind of commitment. The challenge though is if we're looking at one class in particular, I would just want to add one section. But where do I get an extra science teacher for 1 hour and for social studies for 1 hour and a tech teacher for another hour without impacting our senior high?
Mhm.
So the dance is a little bit different at the secondary when we have to look at licensing and then we have to look at how do you manage the people?
Yeah, because it's not just one area.
Nope.
Multiple. Okay.
Yep.
I see what you're saying.
Yep. Other questions? Okay. Speaking of activities, I have to get my 6th grader to tennis, so I'm going to sneak out, but I will learn more later. Thank you.
Yep.
Hello, everybody. High school wise, we've got a lot of stuff going on. We have a lot of people in my building, I can tell you that. 616 to be exact. It's probably high because high schoolers just don't like to tell anybody that they're leaving or whatever. So as of right now, we do have 13 new kids coming in, 6 from either Sacred Heart or Riverside. So and then the other 7 are from various places online, Stephen Argyle, Fisher, whatever. We have, as of right now, we have 2 people that are for sure leaving that have had records requested to go other places, one to Grand Forks, one to West Fargo. Seniors are 122, so that's still a pretty low class. So I can tell you in the end of May, we'll still be an hour for graduation. After that, I'm not making any promises because the junior class is 162. My sophomore class is the biggest class in the district. That's at 182 right now. And then 150 for the freshmen. I did look at my freshman biology classes. for some miracle, I did get 7 biology classes from the very beginning and back in March when we scheduled, so I should be good there. That's still 25 or 26 for the most part. English classes, I'm not too worried about as far as numbers there because we have the lower level English class for a lot of the kids too. So it's the regular ed English 10 is probably in that 24, 25 range. So they'll be fine. And same thing with social studies, and then math is the same way. They've got different levels of math, so they'll be fine there. My new admin assistant, Lisa Hill, is obviously a little overwhelmed by a lot of things, but she's doing awesome. She's great, great to work with, and her and Heather are working great together. And I know when Kelly comes in, she'll be working well with them as well. Just a lot of things that Wendy knew after having 20 years experience that we'll probably miss and then realize, oh yeah, that's right. That's something that somebody did that we forgot about. So we'll have to be patient on that. We got a freshman coming in for orientation on the 19th. We have 2 sessions as per usual, one at 10 o'clock in the morning, one at 7 o'clock at night. So if you have a freshman, that's when those things are, about an hour and a half session, telling you all the ins and outs of being a freshman. And then the other orientations it's not really an orientation, it's just if you have a schedule that's not filled, come in during those next 3 days and talk to the counselors. So that's easy. It got busy around here today. Fall sports started, so we got people in the gym, we got people in the field, we got people all over the tennis courts. So that's going and going and going, and then games will be within a couple of weeks. So that's big. As people stated, we have people in our building for teachers. They'll be coming in on the 19th. That's the trade day for that President's Day, the Thursday before. So they'll come in the 19th, 20, 21, or 22. They will share with me when they're coming in with as many coaches as I have. They might have a morning that they can come in or an afternoon, but they'll put in a full day, one of those days of that week. And then officially the 27th of August. Just something of note, primary elections here tomorrow in our gym, the new gym. Wards 3, 4, and 5 will vote here. We'll also have the general election here in November. That's something that Megan Nelson and I have worked out with the city. They'd like to have that. So really, it should be a slow day tomorrow. I guess supposedly there's only 2 races that need to be narrowed down. So everybody else is either already gotten picked or running unopposed or whatever with no write-in. So should be a pretty casual day. So, all right. Other than that, I got nothing. Any questions for you guys? From you guys?
Questions?
Okay.
Yep. Thank you.
Superintendent?
No. Okay, again, in no specific order, just throwing some things out. READ Act, okay, I'm sure you're aware, the district got 2 pots of money for the most part, or I should say is gonna get 2 pots of money. There's $36 a kid that is specifically for teacher stipends. So we have to have an MOU in place and to figure out how we're gonna divvy that up, so to speak. The union has contacted me. They're interested in sitting down and starting a conversation. MSBA and Ed Minnesota put out a recommended MOU. We have to fill bits and pieces in. So as long as the board's okay, I'm going to start a conversation. There's a webinar on August 26th that both myself for the district and Ed Minnesota will participate in to get some more direction, but we're just going to start having a conversation. I'm going to have a couple of the admin because we got to look at what's on early out time, kind of what's on their own time, and that's kind of what the stipend's for. We need to know total number of people. We got 2 years to cover because the bulk is being done this year, but there's a second round of people that will need some next year. So I just don't want to step on any toes. You're okay if I start a conversation, we'll bring the board in and like say, we have to, that one pot is for them. The other pot is for the district to pay for expenses. Any questions on that? Okay.
My only I just have a question. You mentioned Ed Minnesota and MSBA. They didn't work together to put one together. They each
No.
sent an example where they worked together.
Well, they were directed by legislature to work together to put one MOU
good,
together. So
good.
we got
That's
one MOU and it's.
That's usually where it clashes.
Yeah, no, I understand that, but no, that was part of the direction. And like say, I'm not saying what happened behind
Yeah.
who gave and who took and whatever, but yeah, no,
All right.
it came out together. ESST, same thing. There's some changes, earn safe and sick time. Right now you have 2 pots. Okay, and I don't know how up you're on, like on a teacher contract, there had to be 48 hours in one pot that could be used for the expanded sick leave. The law changed this last session, and I'm gonna say, I think it came majority from Ed, Minnesota, okay, that there can no longer, as of January 1st, be two buckets. Anything like some of your teachers might have 100 hour or 100 days, 150 days, whatever you have in reserve on January 1st now qualifies for the expanded use in ESST. It wasn't that way. It was gonna be anything new was gonna go in. That got changed. So, I'm recommending we might as well change right now. And so I'm gonna, again, if it's okay, work with Ed Minnesota, your local group, to work on that MOU. Because like I said, business wise, we've talked about it. I mean, why wait? I mean, most people are gonna have enough to get them through, and we're gonna have to do it mid-year and then the business office. So, I just don't wanna, again, it'll come to you for approval, and stuff, but we have to. No questions asked by January 1.
Yep.
So okay. Giving a heads up, August 27th is our official welcome back, 8 o'clock. Any of the board wants to come, there's a light, they call it light breakfast, just to meet and greet. And again, it could be more than 3 of you. All I've told my other time, or other board was, we just can't hang out together. If you want to come and welcome people back, I will do a welcome back at 8, and then they go into some different things, as the day goes on. Don't feel like you have to, but if you want to, come join us. Policies, just so you're aware, I asked Nancy to put them in the consent agenda, which I think is a little bit of a change, because typically they went through our policy committee. There's not major changes from us. Okay, there were a few tweaks. But okay, just giving you a heads up. Yeah, I'll go with that. One other thing that was pulled, and I'm gonna explain my stance, there was, if you looked right away, a request for an FMLA leave on there, and we took it off. I'll be honest, I don't recommend having it on, because some could argue it's maybe too much information. As long as it qualifies in contract or by law, you don't have a choice but to approve it. Now, if someone doesn't, for instance, sometimes our pairs didn't have enough hours, so they didn't qualify for FMLA. Those would have to come to you, and they can share what you want.
Oh.
So I recommend if it's illegal and they qualify, probably shouldn't be on the board table.
I appreciate that.
You okay? And I'm just,
Yes.
so, okay, like say, if it doesn't qualify, they'll be coming to you.
Yep.
Heads up, we were asked if we wanted to participate. There's a job fair on September 12th over at I think it's the Alara Center. It's 1 to 4. Main focus is gonna be looking for substitutes. It costs $400 or $450. We got a few that are gonna go sit, myself included, at a table and see if we can, it gets some PR on the radio as well, not huge costs. I think they did it this spring, questionable if we got anyone or not, but I'm thinking more, we need subs now. There's someone looking right now where in the spring, you want to sub in the fall or not, or, unless you're looking for a full time. So just giving you a heads up there. I have a question, strategic planning, and I don't know how, staff is bad. I told you early on, I didn't want to start anything strategic planning without having admin back and knowing how you want to move forward, whether it's something, you want us to do as a group, or whether you want to bring an outside group like an MSBA or someone in to, again, I assume you want to engage the public and get some groups in. Doesn't need a decision tonight, but I guess I'm just looking for how you want to move forward to have some discussion. There are other groups besides MSBA. I mean, again, I'm however you want, but, or are we doing it internally and want to get the ball going, to start moving to get some updated. So I don't know if anyone has thoughts on that right now, or.
My thoughts would be, from my chair would just be to do it internally.
Okay.
We've hired outside entities before to come in and we're buying their product. I would much rather see you as the new superintendent. We have lots of new leadership within the district. That group getting together, that's just my perspective.
No, I
I'm on your
heard,
same page.
yeah, I heard it didn't go real well last time with the outside entity, so, I would be in favor of that as well.
Okay.
And there's been individuals that have been part of that before that are still on your leadership team, but I think that's where to start. It's your guys' school. It's not MSBA's school to come in and they're just selling a product, and I shouldn't. I'll say that at a public meeting.
No, I don't disagree. The only caveat is if there's outside, if we invite public, sometimes some say they'll, say something to you, but they wouldn't say it to, where if that outside, it depends on how much input you want, like I say, from I'm gonna say non-bias. And I don't know if that's true. They, they're contracted, they're working for you, but that's the only difference. I have no problem as long as groups can, help, including yourself, get some public.
Yeah.
Because typically we invite and try to have a working group. So you get, it's not just admin's strategic plan or the board's, we heard from the outside, as long as we're all willing to, throw some names out and we can do invites and things like that. I think we can.
I think we've been successful in the last year of doing surveys and things like that, where you'll be able to get some community input and engage it as it goes. And maybe you do need to come back to the board. Again, that's just my perspective.
No, I
But
agree.
I was involved in it last time and I just thought that it went south and
Okay.
we paid money for it.
Yeah.
And it just, I don't feel it went the direction that it needed to go. So I'm a big advocate of you guys owning it.
Well, that, and we got for the superintendent search, an overwhelming number of responses on surveys.
Yeah.
And I think that we could have the same with the strategic plan as well.
I agree.
Okay, we will start walking down that.
Are we
And
gonna have, oh, sorry, are we gonna have board members on this as well? Or is it just going to be brought to the board?
no, I guess I would assume you have board members. I've been involved, again, I've been involved with MSBA, been involved with us working, kind of duplicating it. And I was involved with a Teamworks group. Again, that's over 26, years. It wasn't just a soup. Every time you had board members involved, just like you had,
Okay.
employees and you had community members and you tried getting, and eventually the board has the final say,
Mhm.
to adopt and to, but you want that input from a wider group.
Yes.
Okay. The only other thing I have is third grade. What conversation you want to have and direction? Well, no, I put it on to,
Talk about third.
yeah.
Yeah.
What direction you want to go or how you want that dealt with or,
I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth.
Well, I was gonna bring something to the table. I think Josh, your comment can overrode that. There's no sense in limiting open enrollment if 3 or 4 more kids move into the community. That's.
but if they move
They
in,
move.
that, those get added.
We
But we
have to.
still, it's still, the class sizes will still almost be unmanageable anyways, so capping it off it just doesn't make sense to cap it off like they were saying. I think we should just look for another teacher, or 2 teachers, or 1.5, I don't know. That, I mean, 32 with a possible 9, and then the class sizes are big, and one of the biggest concerns even last year was 2nd grade, was them going to 3rd grade into less sections and things like that, and being unmanageable. I think that's a lot, especially when they're still that young. Well, that's my 2 cents. I know we don't have the money for it, but we can't let the kids suffer educationally because we have no money.
Okay, so here's what I'll say. And I guess maybe it's me coming from a teacher's perspective on this because I've been in the classroom. I think that the teachers that we have in 3rd grade are great teachers. And I think the training that we're giving them right now with their responsive classroom is going to go a long ways to help a lot of them. Now, adding another classroom, would that help them as well? Sure, it would. But it's going to make South Point even more difficult to manage when you have to now find those spots for 2. Right now, that even number really balances out South Point really well. It allows those classrooms to move from elective to elective really easily. If all of a sudden you're going to add that 2nd spot, that might be more of a detriment than just that one teacher or that one classroom size. So unless we absolutely have to, I would be willing to trust the teachers that we have in place right now for this year. That would be my thought process.
Well, I just want to say, just because I want to add another teacher doesn't say that I don't trust the teachers. I do. I
Right,
love the 3rd
yeah.
grade team. I just
Yeah.
think that is a lot, especially when a lot of them aren't reading at grade level. aren't at math at grade level. There's even ones that aren't on IEPs. It's just a lot. I don't know.
It is, but what is that stress level gonna do to the building as a whole? Knowing that you have to, what you're moving, you're not just moving like a couple kids here and creating this one classroom here. You're changing the whole dynamics of the school and how the school flows.
Melissa, will you go to the mic? No. You're gonna be there anyway for summer school.
Yes, as she's,
We could talk to
she's,
Soraya too.
she's doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we could
you
talk-
both should come on.
Yeah.
My 2 cents would be, we have 2 new leaders out there.
Mhm.
All right, we need to think outside the box, and I think they're gonna do a wonderful job of thinking outside the box. Melissa was in front of us, hey, we need to think about this. I'm not in support of adding, other teachers at this time unless we absolutely need it. We've had to make some tough decisions, over the last few months. I mean, if we have leaders coming to us and say, we absolutely need this because we're gonna fail, by all means, then we need to do that. I don't see that coming from Melissa.
That's where I was gonna go. So
Let's,
I think we need to hear a recommendation or not a recommendation, or talk about, you know, what is more stressful, having that amount of students with that amount of IEPs or on the school when you add a section? Which
and that
one's-
being said, we know you haven't been in the school yet, so let's,
Well, yeah,
let's
well-
lean on, like,
Yeah.
you know, it's hard to have a recommendation when you haven't been in the.
Yeah, but sorry, is it?
No, yeah, no, as a.
Yeah.
Give them that background.
Yeah, just to kind of give you a background maybe on the IEP situation a little bit on what that looks like. Of course, we want to serve all kids as best possible. Basically, just to give you an idea, you know, we have several different disabilities that we'll be working with in the 3rd grade. We have 22 students that will be on a speech IEP. Out of those 22, possibly 2 that will need some extra attention as well. We have 3 that are 3 students with 3, 4, 5, 6 that have some cognitive mildly, you know, pieces there. Trisha Forey is well aware of those students and some of those parts and pieces in servicing those kiddos. And what that's going to look like both in and out of the classroom as well. I don't want to identify, but we do have a very low number of EBD students coming in, and which is different than what we had the previous year. We also have students with autism spectrum that are coming in. But again, that has all been discussed with Trisha Forey. She's well aware of what that caseload is going to look like and how we're going to try and serve those kids this year as well. So given that, that's just an idea that there is some manageable pieces here coming in as well that look different. Another thing that we could possibly look at if things are needed, which is something we tried to look at last year at South Point, especially with one of the sections that we were working with, was trying to get a paraprofessional attached, maybe if there was a dire need for more assistance, as an option possibly as well, so.
As 2nd grade, were they in 7 sections or?
Correct.
Okay. And how did that, I mean, I know a whole year would have passed, but how did they fare? Was it very manageable? Did it seem like they were concerned sending them towards a 6-section group?
In 7 sections, they were obviously more manageable.
Yep.
For sure.
Did they think,
We've lost a few that
Right.
okay,
Yes.
moved out of district,
Correct.
definitely.
So which is the bigger stressor? On the building by adding a section, or on the staff by not adding a section?
Not gonna make any friends right now, but probably.
Well, and I guess maybe, and I'm gonna step in, I mean, she's gonna advocate for her staff and she needs to.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, well, you know what I'm saying? I'm being honest, that she should say, you know, adding, yeah, it'll interrupt the flow. But the flip side is, you see what I'm getting at? We're gonna pit her against her staff going, you
Already,
didn't stand, but
yeah.
you see what I'm getting? I don't want to do that. I mean, going to a smaller number is gonna be easier on the teachers, I think, than the flow. But that being said, and again, I'm here to advocate, you know, for the teachers as well and the staff, but I'm also here to advocate for the board side of sometime we're gonna have to, you know, make progress towards, like you did. And 80 to 85% of your budget is probably staff. And so somewhere we're gonna have to give and take. The special ed number is probably not going down. The 22 speech, I think they're speech only, is that correct?
Yes.
You know, and again, you know, that's a little different than being the high needs, you know. And again, I agree, it's at that breaking point. Don't get me wrong, you know, but it's a two-person ad, you know, and that could be anywhere from, you know, the low end, which is 44,000 starting plus benefits. So I don't know exactly, is that a $70,000, you know, assuming family insurance and this and that, up to whatever the top is. You know, I mean, you most likely aren't higher on top, but I mean, it's $140,000 ad. And I, like I say, I'm just gonna say, I struggle a little bit. Again, not that I don't support.
Right.
Can you post? See if you even get any, I mean, cause things are gonna evolve within the next couple weeks, right?
Mm-hmm.
And things would evolve with that post within, you know, in the next few weeks. So if you don't get any, you know, hits,
I guess that answers the question no matter what.
Or maybe we lose a couple students between now and
and
start.
then you don't need to hire.
Then you don't even interview. I mean, that could be an option, but I know that might not be the best look either where you're
Well,
It's
posting.
I
not-
mean, I
yeah,
think,
Might
yeah,
not.
of course,
correct
right.
me if I'm wrong, have you ever not gotten an elementary teacher?
Well, we've been hiring for a social worker for a very.
Social
long
worker's a
time.
different
Different.
license.
That's different.
I'm,
We looked, almost for a special ed teacher for 9 months.
no,
That's
special
okay.
ed,
I think there's
Classroom
been
teacher.
times
Yeah.
where it has been very low.
but I'm just saying,
Oh,
I think you'll get a special, or a elementary teacher if you post for it. You know,
I'm not-
special ed, preschool, special license, you know, that a little more challenge, social work, very challenging, you know,
I wouldn't be opposed to talking again about closing the open enrollment.
I think
if,
that's the route we take.
you know, that's not our
Yeah.
here, it's extra, you know, people coming in, not that for the whole district, just this. grade.
just the one grade,
Just
all
the
that
one
prevents,
Is it from this day forward or is it for those that are even
No.
enrolled already?
no, it would be from this forward, you can't go back
day
and,
forward,
Okay.
you know. But, and again, I'm guessing, I've never done it, there's probably a resolution, we would just, like I say, have to get that in place and probably want to do it as soon as possible.
Sure.
But like I say, and again, it's the message, we want kids,
Mhm.
but we're in a tough spot here. If 2 or 3 move in, we have to take those. So your numbers could still fluctuate, you could lose a couple, you know, things change. It just prevents neighboring, for the most part, having to take, because right now, you don't have a reason not to, and we always have.
Yeah.
At least in my understanding, we always have.
Yeah, that's, I
Mhm.
think that's the way I see it right now is.
And again, it's just for the year.
Yeah.
You
Right.
can look at, you know, as we plan for next year, you know, did we have a bunch of,
We could,
It could be for a month.
could be for a month, maybe we lose 10 kids.
yeah,
Right,
Then we say, well, let's, yeah,
Reopen
Right.
that, yeah.
reopen that. Or
But
rid
if
of that
that's, if
resolution.
we're a tipping point, you know,
Yeah.
that's where you gotta balance, so. That's,
Going down to 20 students that's as low as we would have ever, my time here, we've never been that low. So that seems, yeah, if we get more students, I would be all for adding a section. I just think right now we're at the peak.
Mm.
And we do have a little bit of benefit of time. I know it's not the greatest time to hire a teacher no matter what, but,
or you leave
with
it
the budget in
open
mind, too.
and see what happens, like I say, in the 3 weeks. I mean, you know, districts have added a month in or replaced teachers. I mean, things happen. You have people pass
a
away,
lot of
you have,
assumptions right now we're trying to make that we just don't know.
right.
yeah.
And to add 2 teachers for something that may or may not happen seems, I don't know, I'd rather just wait and see how it goes and potentially do that resolution.
Especially when we've worked so hard on the budget, you know, adding to,
Right. I'm in favor of that, or how about this side of the table?
I didn't hear,
Oh. You said you're in support of that. Yeah,
just
closing.
close or just wait?
No, I think I would close.
I guess I'm in support of just waiting. I don't know. We're not gonna come up with a resolution tonight. So that gives us a little bit of time unless we go back and
But what it doesn't do is in the next, just like today, one came to the desk. I mean, if they come to the desk now, I mean, you can wait a day or so, but you can't, we're gonna wait 2 weeks and see what happens. I
Right.
mean,
Yeah.
so we either have to decide, yeah, let's set a meeting as quick as possible, meaning 72-hour notice, and let's close it, or we're willing to wait and see what the numbers happen and deal with it as time goes on.
If we.
And I don't have a good
No.
ticket for you. There isn't a win,
I mean, it sounds like we're anticipating a special meeting anyhow, if an offer is.
very
made.
possible.
I don't know. Just throwing that out there.
Oh, why don't we just close it tonight and then we can look at it again in 2 weeks and then we're gonna be closer to school at that point in time and.
We don't.
No,
have a
we're saying we
resolution.
can't close.
Oh.
We have to have a resolution.
I think that like I say, I'm pretty sure there's a resolution that we have to have in front of you
Yeah.
that lays out, and like I say, I've never closed it. I've had neighboring.
We want to be
districts that have.
clear that this is, yeah, dire situation. We don't want to do this,
Yeah.
but
Right.
I mean, like you said.
well,
it's
and
at a
that we're not
tipping
making
point.
assumptions that, I'm on website here right now trying to figure out how to do it, but I think this is also something that we want to make sure that we do our due diligence
Yes.
on.
Yeah.
How about this? Let's set a meeting
For like
Friday
Friday.
morning.
Friday morning.
Yeah.
We'll have the contract for a new hire and we'll have the process. If you decide not to go down this process, you don't act on it, but I will get
Mhm.
the legal steps and it'll be posted tomorrow to close third grade, get the resolution, whatever we need. If on Friday morning you decide not, you can vote that down, or pull it or not do it. But if we don't put it on there, you can't add it
Yeah.
to a
Add
special.
it to a special meeting.
Is that okay?
Yes.
I will be gone on Friday. I was supposed to be gone today, but I was trying, plans got moved, so, but I will be gone on Friday. I could call in, I guess. I don't know if I need to. Okay.
You
we'll have
just
a
have to
quorum.
post where you're gonna be, and it has to be public access. So
I would
if you
do
wanna,
that.
if you wanna go in,
We'll have a
no,
quorum.
you have to do.
That's
it.
okay.
That's
No,
okay.
that's okay.
I guess
That
I would
sounds a
support
lot.
that. We don't need
You
a
could just
motion.
view it on
No.
YouTube.
I didn't know if you needed me to vote.
Yeah,
Have
I
more
didn't know.
conversation on Friday.
What time Friday morning?
Seven.
Seven.
7? Okay. No, I'm,
So- That's how we roll.
7:15.
Melissa, I didn't mean to pin you against your staff. I apologize.
Tough
Your
situation.
staff, I didn't
Tough,
mean.
tough question.
to offend.
So
We're always
unfortunately-
gonna say we need more staff.
Yeah, I know. I
Yeah.
apologize.
that's all I have unless you have more questions.
No,
You ladies.
any committee reports?
The only thing I was gonna mention, that the policy committee did meet, did review these, and like I say, for the most part, it's MSBA's. We tweaked a couple words, a typo.
Mhm.
Lynn and Lindsay and I met with Diane with regards to preschool and are again looking at options, just starting to investigate. I know the board has looked at different things, obviously spacing being an issue in the buildings, so we're going down that. I actually had a conversation with ICS a little bit this morning and we're gonna do a little, I call it Zoom Teams meeting, with Ron and just talk about some of what we threw out. And then, the buildings and grounds, again, just so you're aware, we set quarterly meetings and we have a day each. The first one's in September, then December. It's the third Monday. We may change that, but just so you're aware. Other than that, just what I talked to you about, the MOUs have started some conversation.
I have a question.
Yep.
I know last year we did, if parents did the free and reduced application, they get,
Oh,
activity
Oh, that
pass.
could
I just want to make sure we're
activities.
doing that again and if
no,
was great
and
to
I
know.
had that on my list. I'll be honest with you.
add something to the agenda.
It's illegal.
Oh.
Okay, no, just hear it out. Many districts did. I'll be honest, we through an audit got our hands slapped.
Okay.
And so we brought it up and it actually came up, and again, I'm in favor. I think it actually is an equitable thing of getting more people, especially the kids, to the events. That being said, it came up in Carla's business manager meeting train. Several other districts have gotten their hands slapped. And so it's kind of hard to say we should keep doing this when it's not
Sure.
No.
acceptable.
Oh,
Now, that
right.
being said, the district has a right, if you wanna, we have to keep trying to get as many free and reduced. Free meals are still there. You can have free attendance for different age levels. If, again, you're getting more in compensatory from the free and reduced than you did, whether it was the first Was that first year or second year last year?
Let's
Okay,
just have-
we did it for a couple of years. The first year, our numbers definitely went up. Okay, last year, the automatic inclusion brought, I think, most districts up. So the reality is, I mean, if you want to do something, you can, waive activity, the entrance fees, whether it's to a certain grade across the board. There's some places that don't charge students to get in. But doing, and again, I love the idea. I mean, it made sense, but you can't attach it to that federal free and reduced program. If you wanted to do something else, that's a different story, but you can't attach it to the federal free and reduced program to incentivize filling that out. Okay, and yeah, I'm sorry, I had that on my note.
Can you just make it part of their paperwork that they have to fill out?
You can, but like if,
Part of the registration? Right.
but if they don't fill that out, because some families don't or don't want to, you can't, then you don't get a pass. I mean, then it's attached. You see what I'm saying? The free and reduced app can go out with everything.
I feel like we used to have student passes that just got into games. I don't remember paying as a student, but maybe we did.
Very small.
Parents probably paid it.
Yeah.
The flip side to it, and I'm just throwing out, and I talked with Scott a little bit about it. Odds are the food, which the concessions probably went up the last couple of years. Now, whether it covers, probably doesn't, but I'm just saying more kids at events mean more candy and pop
Yeah.
sold and that type of stuff, which in essence comes back to you one way, shape
Yeah.
or form. But like I say, I have no evidence to say it's gonna cover each other, some events it covers, you don't hardly cover the ticket takers. But, others, yeah, there are a lot of kids, so. I'm not saying,
So we
Think
just need to
about that.
encourage everybody to fill out the free and
Yeah.
reduced.
correct, it still helps us in other areas, but
Please do.
unfortunately, something good.
Yeah.
Which I think was a great idea, and quite a few districts did it. Unfortunately, the federal government says not acceptable. And so,
Well,
sorry,
that's not acceptable. I mean, we all have kids up here. I have trouble that make this thought, but what incentivizing them? Why don't we let our kids into activities for free? They're sneaking in anyway. They're doing all that anyway.
Not mine.
But, and if it's not probably a big money maker for us anyway. I know it's gonna
I
have
mean,
to go back.
we
up,
can
but-
pull the number
Yeah,
if you
I
want
think
to.
it would be nice.
Yeah.
Do you know what,
to Have some numbers.
And concessions are gonna go up.
Yeah.
And the other option, there are some places that say, kids under 10 have to be accompanied by an adult. You can't just drop your kid off and leave them, or 12 or some number. I mean, it's hard to monitor, but you're a small enough community, you may, I'm just throwing an idea.
Be riots.
Be right.
oh, for sure.
Yeah. 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 Well, I think we can talk about it at the next meeting. I mean,
Yeah.
we have time.
26, yeah, other than you might have one football
One
game or something.
Just think
But
of
we
the
didn't get it
registration.
till-
No, you didn't get it.
Wow.
Yeah, correct.
To give them out.
Just-
anyway.
Yeah.
Principals would be able to announce their registration or whatever it might be.
Oh,
Maybe that's
And I'm
not.
sure there's already families that have paid too, if we do go down that route, but I think it's great to encourage to do it, and if we can't
Mhm.
offer it for free, make it free.
Oh,
Yeah, I would like just, if you can email
All
us
those-
the number, or if you can.
Yeah.
I don't know how
Like,
wizardry you are.
Yeah.
Ticket sales,
Like-
is that what you're saying? Or like?
Yeah.
What it,
For adults for the last couple of years and on concession sales too, to see how it's changed with the activities passes and things like that. And the
Wouldn't-
trend would be nice to see too.
concession sales might be trippy.
Concessions
Well, I
made
know,
like
but-
$30,000 last year.
Yeah, at least we
But
can
the Blue
see
Ring Club
a
runs
little bit of
the
historical data.
It's
to
different.
go with
That's the high
if you
school.
wanna
That's
do
a
that.
hockey. That's just
I think it's
concessions
great.
here at the high school
Sure.
was $30,000
I think it's great.
last year.
Wow.
Roughly. No, roughly made that much.
Okay.
All right.
Yep.
We'll talk about it next meeting.
good question, Eric. Thank you. I
Yeah.
apologize.
Well, we gotta hear from Melissa for summer school.
Yeah.
Oh, that's-
Maybe.
I'm going to share with you the highlights from our summer school, after a year of having the summer.
Turn on your mic.
That's on.
There you go.
All right, so third year of having our summer learning program. And just wanted to share with you, so we've done it in conjunction with our ESY as well. So these are the students that were registered for both. 143 students registered for summer learning and ESY. 45 of those students were just ESY students, and 98 students were our summer learning students. We were 14 days, the last 3 weeks of June this year. These are the averages. So week 1, we had 114 students, week 2, 105, and week 3, we averaged 113. So we did pretty nice there with our attendance. Just going to share with you the goals. Would you like me to read them? So this was the kindergarten, 75% of students, so it's just, these are all reading goals, K through 5. 75% of the students will maintain their spring goal of FastBridge and identify 2 or more sounds per minute according to that FastBridge sound assessment. The results were 88% of those students consistently attending. And so you'll see that in a lot of these results that they use that consistently attending because as you saw, those numbers fluctuate. Summer school increased their sounds per minute. The average increase per student was 5 to 10 more sounds per minute. In first grade, their reading goal was 75% or higher on Orton Gillingham midterm sound assessments. The results, 86% of students performed 75% or higher on that OG assessment. In second grade, 75% of students will accurately decode words of previously introduced patterns and increase their pre-assessment by 1 word or more per minute with FastBridge. And that result was 85% of students accurately decoded words of previously introduced patterns. In third grade, their goal was 75% of consistently attending students would accurately decode words of previously introduced patterns to increase as well. Oops. And theirs was 88% of consistently attending students increased their decoding score by the end of summer school. The other 22% stayed the same at a high level of accuracy. In fourth grade, 75% of students will be able to increase that decoding skill on reading the CBM using the FastBridge pre to post assessments. 93% consistently attending increased their decoding skills. And in fifth grade reading, 75% of students will increase their scores on the main idea from the pre-assessment and to a post-assessment using a teacher-created assessment from IXL. There is a fly here that wants to be a part of this, apparently. And their results, 85% consistently attending increased their scores. Going over to math, starting with kindergarten again, 75% accuracy or above on that FastBridge matching quantity assessment. Results, 82% of the students consistently attending increased their number. The average was actually 2 to 5 points per student. In first grade, students, 75% accuracy or above on the FastBridge decomposing assessment. 50% of the students performed at 75% or higher. And in second grade, 75% of students would be able to add and subtract within 20 with 75% accuracy measured. And the results was 81% of the students were able to add and subtract. Third grade, 75% consistently attending would increase their basic fact fluency. And the results, 85% of students consistently attending increased their basic addition facts. 79% of students attending summer school increased their basic subtraction facts. Fourth grade, 75% of students will increase their scores on multiplication and division fluency. 92% consistently attending increased their multiplication fluency. And in fifth grade, 75% of students will improve their scores on multiplication algorithms from the pre-assessment to post-assessment using that teacher created from IXL. 87% of consistently attending students increase their multiplication algorithm score by the end of summer school. So you can see we had some excellent results with our classes. Just wanted to share, this was enrichment days. So we took 2 grade levels at a time. Kindergarten and first grade went one day, second and third another, fourth and fifth another day, and they went to the University of Minnesota Crookston. Their focus was on nature. As you can see on habitats, they had different, they scaled it to their grade level. So as you can see, these are different grade levels and what they did. The kids came back every day just excited. Crookston has done an amazing job. They've been a great partner with us for the last 3 years, and I can't say enough great things about the program that they put on for our students that way. And these are just some photos of our students learning, engaged, excited to be there. I heard more parents say how excited their students were to be at summer learning, but they did not have to coax them to get out of bed. You can see the smiles on their faces at all age levels here. And then I just have quite a few thank yous. I just want to thank the EGF families and students for just another fantastic year. The teachers did an incredible job, the paraprofessionals that we had. We were limited this year on our paraprofessionals. The last 2 years, we were fortunate to have enough paraprofessionals to push into classrooms to help with that support, because we have designed summer learning to truly be that intervention time to keep those class sizes small. So paras were helping. We did not have that in the classroom push-in setting, but we had paraprofessionals helping with our ESY program and would assist with those students who went into the classroom that way. So thank you to them, custodial staff, kitchen staff. New Heights was the home for all of the public to attend for open lunch. And so coordinating all of the summer school learning, the summer wave that was going on, the preschool programs that were going on, and the summer learning, that was a big thing. Thank you to Cody with transportation. He did a few extra routes to help students accommodate their schedules and their needs. And so that was awesome. And Superintendent Hackbarth for his support during that time, UMC, and of course you, the school board, for making this happen again for this great learning opportunity. So it's just another fantastic year. And if it's any way possible, we would love to continue it, because it's just really been fantastic. A great learning opportunity for those students who are not at a grade level in reading and math. Any questions?
I have a quick question. So I think the numbers are absolutely amazing, with the growth and the goals meeting. So I know all the students are like tracked in their progress and stuff, but is there extra like tracking that's done for the ones in summer or the extended school year to see how, like, where they're at when they come back, once they've done the
Sure.
summer learning, to see the loss of retention loss order?
From summer learning into the
Yeah.
beginning of the year. I guess we haven't really done that, but when talking to like their title teachers,
Mhm.
classroom teachers, they have noticed that that
okay.
growth has helped
That
immensely.
it stays.
And I didn't really touch on this, but not just their academic growth, but that confidence growth. Because we only take students who are not at grade level, that removes those students who are at the top, right? Who are always raising their hand, who are always ready to answer the question. And you might be a student who just knows my friend next to me is going to raise their hand and answer for me, so I can just sit back. This really brought students out of their shell and gave them that opportunity to really shine. And so that was a huge piece that I should have had in there, that growth of that confidence level of just saying, hey, I actually can do that I can actually do this, and then be prepared when the next, when fall comes around.
Any other questions? Thank you. It's
All right.
wonderful.
Thank you.
All right. We'll move on to some board business. We're gonna talk about the consent agenda 5.0. I need a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Buddy, you have questions, concerns, want anything bold?
Mm-mm.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. 6.0 opportunity for citizens to speak on items not on the agenda. Didn't have any. Moving on to 7.0. It's to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
Any questions or concerns? Okay, all those in favor of approving the agenda, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. 8.0 district business. 8.1 is to approve the student handbooks as presented and attached in board book. I'll move to approve. Any questions or discussion?
I have some discussion. I'll go by school. Should I, or how should I do it, Lynn?
Sure.
Okay, perfect. So, in the New Heights handbook, there is just, a grammatical error that I found that should be fixed. Also, on page 15, notifying parents, we need to update this, not only in New Heights, but in pretty much all the handbooks. Since in 506, we changed that parent notification will happen and it's not quote unquote deemed appropriate. So I think technically all the handbooks have to change so that they actually match the policy. Yep, and then that's on 2 pages in New Heights handbook. South Point just has 1 grammatical error I can email, and then also the same with the 506 notification of sending students out of the classroom. But I also want to point out that in both South Point and New Heights on page 14, when it's dangerous weapons and stuff, it says pretty much discretionary use is going to be used when notifying parents of the first offense of a weapon being brought. I think it should be will be notified instead of a discretionary. 2 cents. And then CMS, page 5 needs to align with the new 506 policy. And then policy number change. And then also, I noticed in CMS and in the senior high, there's no talk about free lunches or anything like that. I think the wording should be adjusted to talk about free lunches instead of just the charges. I understand that they have deli and different things, but the standard lunch is free. That's not in there. Should I stop before I go to senior high or should I just keep
No, keep
going? Okay, and then senior high has multiple areas that start on page 12 that say, now mind you, I don't have a high schooler, but if I did, I would not think that it should be students or parents get notified. I think it should be students and parents or guardians get notified. I think there's roughly 6 instances where it says just the students or the parents and guardians going to be notified. So that struck me as odd. And then there's quite a few policies that need to be changed because they're still in the 5,000s instead of like the 500s. And they also need to do the parent contact also to align with policy 506. The lunch should be aligned with the free and reduced, or the free lunches. And then also on page 31, it talks again about parents may or may not be notified in incidents of drugs, alcohol, or tobacco. I think that the parents it should state they will be notified. And then also with the buses offenses, it doesn't talk about anything parents being notified. It just talks about notifying the students. That's what I have on the handbooks.
Any other comments, discussion?
So what are you gonna do about the updated policies? I mean, we've made motions, we gotta get these things.
Yeah.
Ready to rock.
No, what I'd like to do is, get them approved tonight if we have a vote for it. And then, I mean, a lot of these are grammatical or just need number changes to match with the policy so we can get those.
And 506 just change and
Right.
what change in there is there's
Yeah,
a piece that
that's why I
will
put it up
be,
like that.
if the kid's sent out of the room,
Mhm.
that's the main one I think we're talking about. A parent will be notified just for the principal group. This is not, the kid sat outside for 5 minutes and you let back in. If you guys send them to the principal's office, parent should probably be notified.
Mhm.
And I'm not saying it has or hasn't,
Yeah.
but,
It
that's,
just previously stated that the principal or designee determines the necessity of the parent or guardian being notified. We changed it to will be notified if the child is sent out of the classroom.
So quite honestly, we need to get these in place because we have school starting, but, and we need to have handbooks so we can get this into place and then we can work on those basically, and/ors or numbers.
Yeah, and yeah,
Updated.
some of them, like, I don't know, maybe it's just me and the way I read it,
Sure.
and someone could explain it to me, but like
Yeah.
I said with the high schoolers, I don't think you notify the students and they did something naughty to rely on them to tell their parents.
Well, I think just from my perspective and sitting on, the board for a while, Brian, you could probably, help me out here, but if I'm 18 years old and I'm going to high school, do you have to notify my parents? I mean, so there's a give and take there, and that's how I look at it.
Yeah.
And/or I would most certainly, by all means, parents should be notified, but I'm just playing devil's advocate.
No, and
I think that's
after
probably where
it-
that comes from.
It depends on the situation. That's what we do. We're not gonna notify necessarily every single time a kid might do something stupid, and it's nothing major. Maybe it's the kid threw his pencil or slammed his book down, they get kicked out.
Oh, yeah, I'm just talking about the certain instances that were specifically in the handbook, not like willy-nilly instances, I could go over it with you or send it to you too, but that's where I was at.
Okay, I'm gonna, like we moved to approve, we had a second, I'll take a vote on it. Amanda, we can also talk like via email probably, like if we wanna talk about understanding. You know how we do with like the policy group,
Yeah.
and then we can go that route?
Mhm.
Okay,
And can we say, if there's grammatical, we change that?
yeah,
I mean, if there's a typo or something,
Yeah.
we
Yeah, yeah.
change that, and to be in place with 506, we do have to be in place. So if there's a minor tweak for that in all four,
if
I
there's
would-
anything material, we can bring it back.
correct?
Yep. Take a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Vote is 5-1, motion carries. 8.2, set the truth and taxation meeting for December 9th, 2024 at 6 p.m. in room 195 at East Grand Forks Senior High. Need a motion for that?
So moved.
Second.
We have Lindsay and then Josh. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. 8.3, approve Family Resource Center site agreement between Polk County and the East Grand Forks School District as presented and attached. I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
Any
For-
questions? or
For the
discussion?
most part, it's the same thing rolled forward. There's not a charge associated with it for this. It's the same thing you had last year.
Yeah.
So,
Any questions or discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. 8.4, accept donations to the school district.
We have donated? There's nothing listed.
Yeah, there is.
Oh, maybe I'm in a old, okay, thanks.
Make a motion to accept the following donations. $1,018 from Bingo Books, donation is pre-K for books. $12.40 from Box Tops for education. That's gonna go to South Point, and it's for DBIS, and then $896 the MNHS grant. That's gonna go to CMS for location. For a total of $1,926.40.
I'll second.
Did we have first?
Yeah,
Hey,
did
Brandon.
he make the motion?
Oh,
to
sorry.
approve?
I apologize.
Took it from-
Okay.
I was
Okay.
on a old, mine was, I guess, from earlier.
Any questions or discussion?
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. All right, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. 9.0, payment of claims and accounts.
Yeah, I'll move to approve the payment of the K-12 bills numbers 127,497 through 127,533 and EFTs in the amount of $770,019.19.
I'll second.
Any questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. 10.0, board member comments. Matt, Eric, Lord, I just had a flashback. Eric.
No, I thought it was a lot of good discussion tonight. Appreciate the updates from all the building leaders. Aside from that, excited for school to get started, even though my kids probably aren't.
Same, I'm excited for thank you for everyone that helped out over the summer, and thank you for everyone coming in with their comments and what needed to be done for our schools. And I'm excited for school start.
Well, that's all I would say too, so I'll just leave it at that.
Okay.
I had a few. First, I'm super amazed at the summer school program. That was awesome. Second, I know last meeting, we talked about having a superintendent goals and standards evaluation. I was hoping that maybe sometime this week or next week, we could send out dates and times, so maybe we could start getting that rolling. So I can either start it
Mhm.
or something. Okay,
Go
I
ahead.
will. I'll send it out sometime this week. And then for the strategic plan, I also think it'd be a good idea to set a time and date, this week or soon anyways, and I would like to be a part of that. Other than that, we have gotten word that we have, 2 candidates for school board. So we still need, one more, because there's 3 positions open and,
When does it close?
it closed on the, yeah,
Tomorrow.
yeah. So please
thought it
go
already did.
get her done, fill out the paperwork,
Thought it-
only a couple bucks. And that's all I got.
And, you know, we just gave
about that.
Superintendent Grover the instruction for the strategic plan, so I'm assuming you'll
Yep.
come up with a plan for the strategic plan.
Get rolling.
Yeah, perfect.
And, yeah, I'm excited for school start and I have nothing more. So next Board of Education special meeting is 7 o'clock in the morning, Friday, August, what is the date? 16th, thank
Whoop,
you. So we'll have a special meeting then, and then the next one after that is August 26th at 5:30 for a regular meeting. So I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, everybody. I gotta go out with a bang for you.